Hey, what's going on guys, StarGuy34 back with another video. In today's video we are continuing with the Alternative Future of the World Part 4. If you're going to enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe. Trying to hit 50 subscribers by the end of November. Now let's dive right into it. So in the last video we saw World War II break out with Germany once again winning and annexing all these territories, and we also see Austria-Hungary annex all these territories. But we also saw the countries like the Ottoman Empire leave the Allies. We also saw Iran leave the Allies, and we saw Japan leave the Allies. So we're going to continue from that, and starting over here in Asia, where Siberia is basically having some questionable thoughts, as the whole reason for the Entente forming, that being Britain, France and Siberia, was to defend against Germany, but the whole Soviet Union blocks them from Germany. So they basically see no point in joining this alliance anymore. So they decide to go ahead and leave the Allies, seeing no point in actually being a part of them. And this is a similar situation with Italy down here, as Italy blames France and Britain for the loss in World War II and World War I. So a guy called Mussolini comes into power and declares that the Mediterranean is his, as he normally does, and so they go ahead and leave the Allies. And with that, stuff begins to go down over here in Asia, with Japan being under the threat of China once again, as Chinese troops have been found monitoring the border of both Korea and Indochina right here. So Japan is basically alone over here. They've cut ties with Germany, and they want allies, they need allies. So they go to the Siberians over here and basically they want their protection. So in this peace treaty between Japan and Siberia, it's not really a peace treaty but an agreement. Japan cedes this territory back to Siberia, not Sakhalin because that's theirs. And in exchange for this, they decide to make an alliance. And this alliance is called between them is called the East Asian Defense League. I know it's a done name, but I can't think of anything better. So there we go. There we go. So now with this, China sees this and is basically like, and there we go. So now with this new development, China goes ahead and wants to expand, as their loss in Korea basically makes them want to, and invade into Mongolia. Of course they do. And as Chinese troops swarm into the country, tensions begin to rise with Siberia, as Siberia claims some of the land in Mongolia, as they were invaded by them a few episodes ago. However, with the swift fall of Mongolia, China cedes all that land and declares victory. And in the peace treaty, Mongolia is fully annexed into the Chinese Empire. It's not really an empire, but yeah, you get the picture. However, now that has happened, Russia, or Siberia, sorry, I keep calling this Russia, but it's Siberia. Siberia goes ahead and claims some territory, sort of like that. It's not a lot of territory, just bits and pieces along the Chinese border, and that is going to cause tensions, as Japan recognizes this, like the Raj recognizes this country recognizes this. So that's going to flare tensions between these two countries, as well as Japan and China. So yeah, that might cause tensions in the future. So with that going on, we also saw in the last episode that the Soviet Union kind of puppeted Romania and Bulgaria And they do this. They force them into an alliance called the Moscow Pact. Basically a defensive alliance against Germany, and once again it's on the wrong map. There we go. And now with this new development, Germany is feeling surrounded as they are losing allies. They lost Japan and the Ottoman Empire and Iran, and also another country. That's right. I'm just going to call this UAE. The UAE decides to leave the alliance, seeing that they were mainly influenced by the Ottoman Empire, so what's the point, you know? So, with multiple alliances now being forming, countries decide to join those particular alliances. And countries that decide to join certain alliances are Portugal and Britain, with their colonies as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We also might see a certain India becoming very powerful in the next episode, I don't know. So yeah, however, you're interested in ginormous wars. So let's start one. And I'm going to start over here in the Middle East. Now, the Ottoman, basically Saudi Arabia kind of claims this land right here, and Iran kind of wants Iraq. So, yeah, tensions over here are on the rise as this happens. Saudi Arabia forms an alliance with Iran, and that kind of sparks the Ottoman Empire to take action, as they don't want a hostile alliance to exist on its doorstep. And so immediately after this, guess what happens? The Ottoman Empire decides to declare war on both Iran and Arabia. And Iran was its former ally. Why did they do this? Well, they kind of did, you know, they did. And so the UAE decides to join in on the Ottoman Empire side, and a certain Soviet Union might get involved, want to spread out in the Middle East. So to begin this war, we see the Ottoman Empire begin its advances into Iran, moving their way into the north of the country, quickly capturing all of the land in the north. However, they do lose both Kuwait and a bit of Iraq to Saudi Arabia and Iran. We also see a Saudi Arabian invasion into the UAE, with them quickly capturing the modern borders of the UAE, as the UAE itself quickly captures the exclave of Iran. And now things begin to go downhill for the Ottoman Empire, as Saudi Arabia begins to move towards the Mediterranean coastline, quickly capturing it and cutting the Ottoman Empire in two. So with this happening, we see this happening multiple times, as they are pretty much dominant down here in the south, but things are about to go down south for these two, as the Ottoman Empire continues their invasion into the north. However, seeing this as a perfect opportunity to gain land, the Central Asian Union decides to join in on the side of itself. They are an unaligned country, and they are not apologetic to anyone. They immediately enter into Iran, and Iran is not having a good time, as they are being invaded by two invading forces. So now what? Well, we see the UAE continue to lose land to Saudi Arabia, as this area is not good. They are not having a good time, as it is quickly captured, and Iran's panhandle right here is liberated. Well, as the rest of the UAE falls, and the south begins to fall as well. However, following this, a new development occurs. And that is the development of the Ottoman Empire over here, becoming a superpower once more as they blitzkrieg through the northern parts of Iran, quickly capturing all of the western territories, as they are not having a good day. Because Iran is facing 2 invasions on 2 fronts, so yeah. However, the Ottoman Empire is stronger, so they push back Saudi Arabian forces in Jordan and Syria, almost completely pushing them out of the country, as well as reconnecting their front lines over here in the south, sending troops over to support the UAE. So now with this occurring, they push down into Kuwait, quickly capturing much of the country, and even entering into the north of Saudi Arabia. However, the thing about Saudi Arabia is much of the country itself is desert, so they don't really want to capture all of it. However, if they can capture the capital, which is... Give me a second. Yeah, with Saudi Arabia being pushed out of the west, and with their northern territories failing pretty much, it's pretty much over for Saudi Arabia and Iran, as they are being invaded, obviously. However, Ottoman forces begin to move their way through into the UAE, quickly capturing a lot of territory and pushing back Saudi Arabia, as while they do hold on to it, it's not going to hold on to it well, as Saudi Arabia is completely pushed out of Ottoman territory in the north, and a swift invasion is made into the country. And following this, we have the north being pushed back, and Iran and Saudi Arabia being disconnected from each other. And now with this occurring, the Central Asian Union begins to move into the south of the country, into the north, really capturing a lot of land until they are put to a halt by the Ottoman forces, as they make a deal to kind of divide up Iran in the future, as yeah, bing badly boop, the north of Iran fails. And at this point in the war, they are getting destroyed by the Ottoman Empire. This is a strong empire now. Back in 1914, it was a crumbling empire, if you could even call it an empire, but now it is strong. It is strong again thanks to Germany and Austria-Hungary. So now Iran and Arabia decide to meet at the table with the Ottoman Empire to draw up new borders, and the Ottoman Empire is not going to. Alright then, so looking at this peace treaty, we can see that the Ottoman Empire gains land off Iran, as well as Saudi Arabia over here, as well as over here, and the UAE expands to its straight lines. I guess the British influenced that a bit. And now with this happening, a new country is formed, that being the Caspian country. This is Caspia. Yeah, the Caspia. And the Central Asian Union also gained some land. And so the Iran and Arabia are now crumbling states. They have lost a lot of land, and also following this, they are forced to disband the new alliance. Don't know what's going on over here. And that's actually gonna do it for this episode of the alternative future of the world. So yeah, not a lot happened, to be honest, except from the major Middle Eastern war and I guess China's invasion into Mongolia. Nothing like significant over here happened. But that's actually going to do it for this episode of the Alternative Future. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.